So if you don't know what Scrum is, here's your chance. We did include the Scrum framework because one of the things we had to set working agreements on, believe it or not, was just people even showing up to the Scrum events and coming to an agreement on when it's acceptable. When does it work for everyone? That was a really tough thing for us, especially since we have so many diverse team members. We have people that are mothers. We have people that are, in situations where they have, elderly parents and a lot of complex players. And so it's not a one size fits all when you can meet how it works. And even on my Scrum team with Radically Better Agile, it's much more flexible than my other team where it's very rigid and we meet the same time every day. So the events, in case you wanted to know, I want you to remember 3, 5, 3, and I'll explain to you what that is. If you don't know what Scrum is, it's a framework for approaching work that allows you to be adaptive, and it includes working together as a team to solve complex problems. So it's a way of doing work. It's a way of being agile and becoming agile. There's 3 roles. So I said the 3-5-3. There's the product owner, who defines the what and prioritizes the backlog. There's the Scrum Master, who coaches the team and helps ensure that they're doing good Scrum. They're looking for efficiency in the execution of good work. There's a development team, which is the most important. Denise and I always
say that.
They're the ones doing the work and developing the product, and they're the ones deciding how to do the work. So these 3 roles, that's it. That's all there is in Scrum. There's nothing else. There's just those 3 roles. And they work together to go through 5 events, and it's a rinse and repeat thing. So your first thing you should know is that a sprint is a time box. It can be anywhere from 1 to 4 weeks, and it's just a time where you've agreed to do a certain amount of work, and your team is working to creatively do that work to the best of their ability and demonstrating to the customer some working product and getting feedback from them. So to do that, you have a kickoff meeting called sprint planning. And we love sprint planning because that's where you have an achievable goal the team commits to, and you pull just enough stories in to meet your available capacity. You commit to those things and you start doing work, and you collaborate as many times as possible to swarm and get that work done. You have a daily stand up, and we do our daily stand up. We love it. Mm-hmm. So you get together. It's a maximum of 15 minutes, and you say, here's what I did since we last met to accomplish the sprint goal. Here's what I'm going to do before we meet again. Here's something that's slowing me down. Here's how I could get faster. You do that every day, and this is pushing a couple of things. First of all, it's causing rich communication and conversation. Second of all, it's removing impediments. And third of all, it's giving you a touch point to see real progress over time. And when you're doing this remotely, we find that doing that on video actually helps us convey where we're at and identify when things maybe we couldn't do that as well through other mediums.
And also using the tools. I mean, we're actually looking at the Kanban board at this time. So, if you're using Miro or Jira, and we'll have our video up, and then we're also looking at the Kanban board so we can talk about specific stories that we're working on.
And then the sprint review. So if you've never been to a sprint review, this is the best and my most favorite meeting.
The demo.
It's where you take the working product or the solution or service that you have and you show it for the sole purpose of getting feedback. So you can incorporate that feedback by either adding things to the items of work that you have or by incorporating that feedback and improving the process by which you do work. So after you solicit all that feedback, now you go into a closed door meeting, and that's right here. That's this retrospective. The goal of the retrospective is getting better. Mm-hmm. It's about a Kaizen. A Kaizen is an improvement. One thing that the team agrees is either going to make them faster or make them happier. And their goal with that is so that every sprint are doing this thing at the top of the priority list that makes them a better team and more cohesive. So that retrospective ends, and voila, that's the end of the sprint. And hopefully you have 3 artifacts. If someone asks you, are you doing Scrum? Hopefully you have these 3 things. One should be a product backlog. That's just a list of all of the things you have to get done. It's composed of really detailed things at the highest level, and as you move out in time, it's big chunks of work that need to be decomposed. So you have everything you need to do, which is a dream for me. I like that as an achiever. I want to see all the work I've got going on. I want to prioritize it. And then the team commits to some subset of that, some small piece of ready work, and they pull that into their backlog. So that's 2 of the 3 artifacts. And the last artifact, the thing that Denise and I can tell if you're doing Scrum or not,
Immediately, yes.
is there a working product increment? So if you do not have something working that's an aggregate of the sprints prior to it, then we know something is actually broken in the way that you're doing Scrum.
So the takeaway I think on this one though is that our working agreements and norms is that we actually do all of these events.